Hey, guys. Welcome back to the 423 Football Podcast. Today is Tuesday, August 15th, 2017. We are back for the second episode of the podcast. Last week's episode, first one, obviously, it was a little shaky in some parts. The sound quality might not have been up to par with a lot of other podcasts that you normally hear, but hopefully this one will be better, and we'll hope to improve each and every week to make it as good of a podcast as we can. I'm your host, Brandon Bouchard. We're joined here with Peyton Light.
Yeah.
Brett Hamilton.
What?
And what do you say, guys? We'll just jump right into it. Quick question of the day. What are your biggest fantasy football pet peeves? You want to go ahead and start, Brett?
Yeah, I'd say my biggest pet peeve is everyone seems to have that one person in their league every year. Hopefully you don't have anyone like this, but that just doesn't keep up with the league, week to week. They don't set their lineup. It's even more frustrating when they have great players and it's actually a really good team, but they leave their bye week players in and stuff like that. Give you an example. Last year we had a player leave in Julio Jones when he had a infamous game against the Carolina Panthers, putting up 300 yards, 1 touchdown, and at least 36 points, depending on your fantasy football point system. And he was left on the bench. And I don't know about you guys.
It's the worst.
That was really frustrating. And
in defense of some of those people, though, sometimes you're leaving out a person just to make someone else mad. So, like Tom Brady.
That is true. That is not to say rivalries do not occur, and I understand that. But the people who do not even take the time to put their players in, that's frustrating. It just diminishes the fun for everybody else. I mean, whenever another team's matched up with them, it's always a running joke that it's a bye week for them because they're going to win because the other person's not going to play.
Just inactive players, not picking up people off the waiver wire, things like that.
Yeah, so hopefully none of our listeners have to deal with that, but I would say that's probably my biggest pet peeve.
Very, very true. If I had to say my biggest pet peeve, guys, I would probably say it's not really a fantasy-related item. It's more the actual players themselves usually sit in the later games of the season right before they're actually going into the playoffs. But, that's usually around the time that we have fantasy football playoffs. And,
True.
You have a good season, and then all of your best players wind up sitting, and you can lose to a lesser team.
Yeah.
That's never happened to Peyton.
That's not really like something that we control as a pet peeve, but obviously us as fans and us as fantasy football players watching games, it's annoying to see that happen.
More of a hardship, I guess you would say.
Heartache.
Yeah, heartache. That's a better term. But what about you, Brandon?
Agree with all that. The inactive players, that's what frustrates me the most. It's just,
especially as a league commissioner.
Especially as a league commissioner.
All the work that goes into, for all you other commissioners out there, I know there's a lot of work that goes into it. It's a thankless job, but someone's got to do it. But it just makes it that much worse when people don't participate.
Yeah, no one cares what you do, Brandon. It's okay.
All right, good quick question. Move right on into the news. Got some news going on. A lot of stuff happened in the last week. It's been about a little over a week since we had our last recording, so things are happening left and right. I know Friday was hectic for everything. So just to start it off, one bit of news: Jay Cutler signs with the Dolphins, 1 year, $10 million contract, connecting back with Adam Gase. It's going to be I don't think it's going to be too much of a downgrade, honestly. No. Tannehill really couldn't throw the deep ball. He wasn't that prolific of a passer. But granted, Cutler had some issues in his last couple of years with the Bears, and it was often frustrating for the Bears as the organization to keep him on. So what are your thoughts on Cutler going to the Dolphins?
Well, honestly, I mean, I'm kind of excited about it because the connection back with Adam Gase, it apparently fit Cutler's style in Chicago. He had his best passer rating at a 92.3 in 2015 when Adam Gase was with the team as the offensive coordinator. And, he ended the season with some pretty good stat line. He had 3,600 yards and 21 touchdowns. And, he threw I believe he threw his least amount of receptions. So, definitely a scheme that really fits Cutler's style of play, apparently. But, it'll be a question of the transition of players, how it really affects. And also you have to consider Cutler's 34 years old. He's
True.
He's an older guy and obviously isn't big on cardio. So.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know what you guys are thinking, but I think it'll help the receivers in Miami quite a bit, honestly, because Tannehill, like I said, wasn't a deep ball guy. And they got a lot of deep ball receivers. Devontae Parker's yet to break out. Maybe this will be his year. And Kenny Stills, obviously, he's their high-flying guy down the field.
The only thing I worry about with this move is I don't know that Jay Cutler is going to have the opportunity to flourish. I know it's just a one-year deal, so I don't know. I don't really know what they're expecting out of him. But last year the Dolphins had 477 passing attempts, which is the second lowest in the NFL, next to only the Bills. So I don't know how much they really expect him to pass. I don't know if that's the position that he's thrust into, or how he's gonna react, or what the offensive coordinator is doing. I don't know if he's gonna get the deep ball opportunities.
And also, it's also Jay Cutler. I mean, he's not known for his leadership, and honestly, as much as the Dolphins players are bringing him in and
it's not like bringing back Brett Favre.
No, he's not. Everyone's not saying hurrah. This is Jay. I mean, everyone's saying hurrah. This is Jay Cutler, but I don't think the Dolphins. I mean, it could be bad. They might not know what they're getting themselves into, and it could spiral downward.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You're right.
All right, moving on. Another big news.
Woo!
Sammy Watkins traded to the Rams.
Unfortunately, this is not fake news.
This is not fake news.
Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, Watkins traded to the Rams. Bills get back E.J. Gaines, cornerback. It definitely hurts a lot of people in fantasy. Tyrod Taylor, not looking good for him. He doesn't really have a guy to throw to now. Hurts Sammy Watkins, obviously. He's got Jared Goff throwing to him now. I mean, it might come out to be a nice rapport after a while, but I mean, again, Sammy Watkins isn't the healthiest guy, and if he can't stay on the field, he and Goff aren't going to get much of a thing going.
Do we know how much his ADP dropped? Was it 2 rounds?
Watkins?
Yeah.
Not sure exactly. I
think it was about 2 rounds. So obviously,
yeah. Now, well, heck, in our draft,
he went 7th round?
7th round, I believe.
7th round.
7th round, yeah.
We'll go over that pick later.
Yeah, that was a little. But I do believe it helps the Sammy Watkins thing. I think it helps some people. I think it helps Gurley a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yep. That opens up the field big time. People are going to have to cover Watkins, and they're not going to be able to stack the box on Gurley.
Yep.
And I think his value goes up quite a bit. And LaShawn McCoy. They were already, even before the Watkins trade happened, they were talking about McCoy leading the team in receptions and yards, and that's not even counting his rushing. So he could be the guy in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And
well, let's talk about one of Brandon's favorite subjects. Let's talk about beefing the offensive line, because that's exactly what the Rams did this offseason.
No doubt.
And so that may help Goff. They got Andrew Whitworth, who has the highest pass blocking efficiency rating in 2016. They also signed John Sullivan at center. That's going to help. That may give Jared Goff the time he needs. I'm not saying that's the only reason Jared Goff was bad last year.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be fixed overnight. But I mean, they're making strides to. I mean, build a
So I'm
build
not
that
I'm not
organization
so
back.
quick to write Sammy Watkins off, but
Right.
I think he's got an uphill battle this year.
Well, I think too when you open up the field like that, I mean, you're allowing Todd Gurley to run, but that opens up the field for Sammy, and really the number 2 or number 3 wide receiver. I mean, you think about it, you've got Robert Woods, you've got Tavon Austin, but then you also have your rookie in Cooper Kupp. I mean, he was a monster at Eastern Washington. Every year he had over 1,400 yards. So I don't know. I mean, sleeper pick. I really like Cooper Kupp going forward, and he had a great preseason game. I mean, he got 2 or 3 targets for 35 yards, and I mean, he recovered a fumble, and so I mean, I'm betting they're pretty high on him. So,
Another in Bills news. Jordan Matthews going to the Bills. They lose Watkins. They get Matthews. Give up Ronald Darby, which that's a lot they're giving up.
Yes.
But Jordan Matthews coming in already first practice. He goes down with a chip fracture in his sternum.
Yep.
He's week to week now. So I mean that's going to hurt him and Tyrod. If they're trying to get something going, just like Goff and Watkins. If one of them can't stay on the field, then it's not going to be good to learning.
But do you know who it helps? Zay Jones.
It does.
Amen.
But I do believe it helps. It helps a lot of the Bills wide receivers. They got Anquan in there now. They got Zay Jones. But it's still just I don't know. I don't understand what the Bills are doing here. They get rid of Watkins. They downgraded Jordan Matthews.
I think everyone thought that Watkins was going to be the franchise wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills. And I think that's what surprised me the most is that they were so willing to give him up for not a whole lot in return.
Mm-hmm.
well, and they also haven't even signed Jordan Matthews yet either. I mean, you're talking about. I mean, he's a not a premier. He's a pretty high tiered wide receiver, and I don't know. There's not a lot of love being shown.
Yeah, they're both in contract years, him and Watkins. So I mean, and Watkins he didn't move to a place where he could really show something in his contract year, so he might be stuck there.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving along as we mentioned, Anquan signed with the Bills, helps him and Zay now that they're gone. Probably the biggest news of the entire weekend. Ezekiel Elliott suspended 6 games. They finally came out, said 6 games. I think you both were wrong on that department. I think one of you said 3, one of you said
3.
4.
I did not think it would be more than 3.
I was just hoping justice for Le'Veon, but I got way more
Well,
than that.
hey,
so.
granted, you guys still have time to be right. His appeal went through today.
That's true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of allegations of his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, back and forth, and apparently the appeal is going to hinge on the statement from the girlfriend. So like I said, that came out today. The appeal was filed today, and reports are going to show that they're going to be back in like 10 days, I believe.
How many games do you think that swings, though?
If he does get it appealed?
Yes.
If he gets it appealed, I think it'll drop to 4.
I say 4.
I think 4 is going to
4,
be. It's going to be at least 4.
I think they're going to get a good statement from the girlfriend. That's at least the news reports that we've been reading. But I think he's just got a whole lot going on. It's not just about the girlfriend issue. He's got a lot of misconduct issues in this off season, and I don't know.
He's got a lot of maturing to do. We'll just put it at that.
Yeah.
But it's big. He was arguably top 3 in fantasy drafts overall after or before this news, and after this news, I don't know where would you guys be willing to draft him now?
Well, it really depends on how comfortable you are with drafting. Like, if you're a confident drafter, I would say, you could try to snag him first round or second. Maybe more second round if you could, because if you can wait 6 games, if you can hold out for 6 games, you really only need to win a few in there.
I say most leagues he's going to go in round 2, but me personally, I wouldn't draft him until the 3rd round. It is 6 games, but let's not forget that Dallas's bye week is week 7, so he's not going to play until week 8. That's a
that's a
half
very
of the season.
Games, yeah.
That's a very good point. I didn't realize the bye week is right there.
That is half the season that you will be benching your second round pick. That's a lot of value to give up.
True.
That's true, but you also have to consider. I mean, he's going to come in midway through the season, be fresh, in a lot better shape than everybody else. He's just going to be working out, I assume.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
So,
he's a good playoff weapon for your fantasy league.
If you can survive those games without Zeke and you come into the playoffs firing with him, I mean it could be a league winner right there.
If you do go for Zeke in the second round, I'd say don't wait too many more rounds to draft Darren McFadden.
Yeah.
I think it also lowers the value of your other Cowboys players also, so just keep that in mind.
Good point. Last bit of news, we got Martavis Bryant preseason reinstatement. Finally, I like how he's not yet reinstated for the regular season. I like what they're doing with him though. I hope they do this with a lot of players that are recovering from, I guess, drug and alcohol issues.
Yeah.
They're doing it in kind of like stages. It's like see how it goes in this stage, and then bring them along. And it's almost like a rehab process in itself.
Right.
And just be like, okay, you better stay
kind of proving whether or not you're going to be eligible.
Yeah. And hopefully that's my prediction of how they're handling this, because Martavis on the field with Ben and Antonio and Le'Veon, it's a show. It's fun to watch, and Martavis can score a ton of touchdowns, deep balls. He's the guy for that.
It's a fantasy dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Out of the news, we had our own personal draft. If you follow us on Twitter at the 423 Football, if you like us on Facebook, Instagram, you know that we drafted on Sunday. We play in a 10-team league. Roster sizes, what we get, quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, a kicker, defense, and 6 bench spots.
Standard scoring,
yeah. If I didn't say that already.
Yeah. OG.
This is actually the first time we've actually had we do our drafts offline. We usually get a big board and everything, have everyone over, crack a few beers, everything like that. This is the first year, though, we've actually had every single person in town for our draft. Like I said, we've been doing this for 10 years. We got friends that we've known for our entire lives in this thing. And this is the first time we've had every single person at the draft, which is...
It's fun.
Fantastic.
It definitely helps.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a good way to stay in touch, too.
atmosphere.
I love it.
Right.
But we got a few awards to give out. But before that, we got our favorite personal picks from our own teams. If you want to go ahead and start us off, Peyton, who'd you like from your team?
Well, so my first 2 picks were Le'Veon and then, oh my gosh, who's my other running back? DeMarco. Yeah, that's right. But my third pick was Todd Gurley, and the reason I went 3 running backs is because we have a flex position in our league, and I mean you're talking if you've got running backs, it's fairly consistent scoring. They can really bust it out. But I don't know. I just I liked my 3 running backs, and then I also liked my quarterback pick in Mariota. Honestly, because quarterbacks are pretty deep this year. I felt like Tennessee's going to be a pretty good team, and I drafted him pretty late, so it allowed me to get a lot of other players that I felt I needed on my team. So,
Yep.
And Brett,
I'd say my favorite pick. I mean, obviously, I do like we play in a keeper league, and my keeper was David Johnson. I had the 9th pick in our draft. We draft snake style, so I felt like keeping him at number 9 was a pretty good opportunity.
Very good opportunity.
But I'm gonna dive a little bit deeper. I'm gonna say I'm gonna talk about Andrew Luck. Drafted in the front of the 8th round. That's almost mind-boggling, considering he went in the 4th round last year. He finished as number 4 fantasy quarterback. Little known fact: he does not play wide receiver.
yeah,
He finished as number 4 quarterback in 2016 fantasy. His ADP keeps falling. It just now fell to the about middle of the 8th round in a 10-person league. I just think it's a good value that late. I mean, Normally, I try to get one of the bigger quarterbacks. I just like the consistency. I know that in this type of league, everyone passes a lot. We've got a lot of runners. A lot of quarterbacks can score a lot of fantasy points. But I still like having the consistency of knowing who my quarterback is week to week. And I feel like if Andrew Luck, if his injuries persist and he has to sit out for more than a couple of games, which I don't think is going to happen, I wouldn't feel bad picking up another one and dropping him because he was my 8th round pick. I didn't lose anything by drafting Andrew Luck. But on the upside, I think he has enormous potential, just like he does every year. He has what I was talking about earlier. He is on the injury report. He still hasn't announced if he's going to start week 1. I don't think that they're going to announce if he's going to start until the week of, which it doesn't surprise me at all. But I think it's a good value, and I think he's falling a lot in drafts. But I feel like if your strategy is kind of wait on a late round quarterback, why not pick Andrew Luck? I mean, It normally goes a lot higher than that.
True. My picks, I had a very, I guess, unconventional draft this year. Unconventional.
That's one word you could use.
Yeah, you can use many words to describe my drafting strategies. But 2 guys I snagged pretty late. Got them. I had the 10th pick, so I had the turn pick. Got them in the 11th and 12th round, back to back. Samaje Perine, Kareem Hunt. They're not going to be starters right away unless some injury happens to Kelly and Ware. But I think these guys could be home runs down the road. Spencer Ware's never been the healthiest guy. Rob Kelly, he doesn't really have that long of a history of being able to run the ball in Washington. So if one of these guys can step up and take over the starting job, I mean, it could be huge. I could snag potentially 2 starting running backs in the 11th, 12th round. That's essentially free. I mean, there's not much better value than that. So moving on into the awards, we kind of selected different people for different awards this year from our draft. Starting off, we have the best pick of the draft, which we voted Jordy Nelson. Jordy Nelson was the first, or the what was he
very
picked?
best pick, everyone.
Yeah, eighth pick of the first round. But Brett, you go ahead and tell him why it's the best pick.
Yes, Kevin drafted Jordy Nelson with the 8th pick of the first round, and then Brandon, our host, traded his pick, which ended up being AJ Green, and a 7th round pick, which ended up being Sammy Watkins, for Jordy Nelson. So, with the 8th pick of the first round, Kevin got AJ Green and Sammy Watkins. I feel like it does not get much better than that. Also, the first time in our league we'd ever done a
draft day trade
for picks.
I'm a weak man. I can't live without my Packer players. I got Aaron this year, or I had Aaron and Jordy last year. Had him the year before when Jordy got hurt. I don't know. I have to have him.
To give you some frame of reference, when Jordy did get hurt 2 years ago, Brandon kept him on his team for the entire year for the principle of it.
Hey,
so fandom runs deep.
And please remind everyone who won that year.
I can't remember.
Fake news.
I can't remember.
The champ.
He cheated. They all.
All right, so yeah, best pick of the draft, Jordy Nelson. Worst pick of the draft, the not so glamorous pick. It's not so much the player, it's more where he was drafted, because it makes no sense to me. I don't know about you guys.
No,
but
I don't
Julian
see the
Edelman.
Yeah, it's the shocker of the 3rd round.
Second round.
Oh, second?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Edelman in the second round.
He's on the turn, so basically same pick.
Yeah, same thing.
Pick.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Edelman in the 2nd round. ADP right now is 65th overall. So starting in the 2nd round, number 11 overall. or not 11 overall. It was at the end of the second round, wasn't it?
But, hey,
Yeah.
let's all take a
Sorry.
step back, though. I'm pretty sure Charles's grandfather saw Robert Kraft, so maybe he knows something that
Maybe
we
he
don't.
does. He did meet. He
You know?
did meet
Maybe
Robert
that's some
Kraft.
insider
He's got the
information.
inside scoop going on. So yeah, worst pick of the draft, Julian Edelman. Sorry, Charles, but you're reaching a little on that one.
About 5 rounds too early. Sorry.
All right, best drafted team. Had a lot of good good teams, I think, come out of this year. It was a tough decision, but I think we're going to go with Joseph Winstead's team.
See.
Had you want to go through? You want to just run through like, I don't know, top like 10 players he picked?
Yeah, so right now in his starting lineup, he's got Russell Wilson, LaShawn McCoy, Jay Ajayi, Eric Decker, Jarvis Landry, Amari Cooper, which I really wanted.
I wanted Amari bad.
I was about to get him, and then Jimmy Graham, Spencer Ware, Mason Crosby, and the Texans. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, his team looks really good.
It's well rounded.
Yeah, and the scary part is he picked up Rashard Matthews because we all forgot about him. So
Yeah, one of the it was in the very last round, wasn't it?
Yes.
Very last round, picked up Rashard Matthews because we're idiots and forgot about the guy. But like I said, well rounded.
He got Jimmy Graham late. I thought that was a great late rounder.
Yes.
I really like Jimmy Graham for this
And
year.
another thing, even I don't know why he changed his team name, but I begged for him to change it because he got Ted Ginn too. And wouldn't the perfect team name be Ginn and Juice? He got Jarvis Landry and Ted Ginn, and he didn't make it Ginn and Juice. It's perfect.
Maybe he's going to change it every week. You know, Joseph's kind of a
That's true.
He's
That's
a creative guy.
Yeah,
true.
that's true.
All right, so yeah, best drafted team, Joseph Winstead. Two kind of I don't know, funny awards, I guess. I don't know what's a good word for it, but longest time taking a pick.
Oh, Josh, definitely.
That can
Yeah,
guys.
it was Josh. Yeah.
Anyone who knows us and knows this league knows who Steele is.
The timer ran out like 5 different times. It was awful.
Yeah, I mean, granted, he was the guy running the stickers this year, so I mean, he was kind of up and down. He didn't get to look as much, but
Give him a little bit of a pass, but still, it's Josh.
I mean, it's every year we know who's going to be. Who's going to take the longest time to pick, and best chef. Thanks to our one of our hosts, Brett Hamilton. He was kind enough to let our newest team member and his girlfriend Heather cook for us.
Yes.
So thank you, Brett.
Made some awesome buffalo chicken dip.
It was
brownies.
The brownies.
It was
were
delicious.
awesome.
It was brownie. Just thanks to me for letting her cook. It was a tough decision, but someone's got to do it.
Yeah. But yeah, all jokes aside, just props to Heather. It was delicious food.
Yes.
And not to mention that she had to draft too. So I mean, she had
Yeah,
food
she
going
drafted
on.
well.
Yeah,
she had a
did.
good team.
Yeah, she did.
Strong,
she did.
Strong team. Bush's dream team.
Okay, moving on. Outside of our league and the draft, we'll just go right into a preseason week 1 review. The games, week 1's over for the preseason.
Great games. It was exciting to watch.
Yeah,
a lot of young players.
Glad football's here.
Yeah, we got to see a lot of new
Obviously.
things, a lot of rookies. Not a lot of start. I mean, there are a lot of teams where starters obviously didn't play this week.
Or
but
played a couple of series, which is fair. Got to see a couple of standout performances, but mostly looking at the rookies and the younger players that are really trying to win those positions. Those are always exciting to watch in preseason. You know, you can always argue about doing away with preseason, but it is fun to see the ones that are kind of on the edge of winning that starting position.
Yeah.
See how hard they play.
It's an extension of training camp. So it's just, I mean, there's still cuts to be made. Cuts and trades are happening all the time. Right. But this is just another way of like getting them in the exhibition games and being able to see what they can do. So we'll go ahead and start with Texans and Panthers. And again, we're not gonna talk too much about scores and stats that much. We'll hit a few here and there, but I mean, scores don't matter in preseason. It's just mainly coaches trying out players and things like that.
We're talking about fantasy football prospects and how they're performing, how they're expected to perform.
Yeah, we're seeing who's gonna win position battles and things like that. But yeah, Texans and Panthers. A lot of rookies in action here. Deshaun Watson.
We'll go great performance.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
It was.
I liked what I saw.
It was surprising because
I think he's going to win that job.
Before the season starts?
No. He is not going to be the starter for week 1. I give it 3 to 4 weeks.
3 to 4 weeks. I do agree. He had a good showing. 15 for 25, 179 yards, and ran for a touchdown,
rushing touchdown, which I expect more of.
That's if it's gonna be Deshaun Watson. He's not going to go out there and score a lot of fancy points by throwing the ball. He's going to be kind of like Tyrod. You're going to get points from his legs. Because Deshaun Watson, he's not the greatest deep ball thrower. He can hit him spot on short and things like that. But,
and there wasn't just a quarterback sneak rushing touchdown either. He made some good moves. He looked good.
Yeah, he looked comfortable in the pocket.
He looked good. Yeah. He's adjusting to the NFL well, which was really good to see.
Yeah. Another thing, Deontay Foreman, he played a while. Got 9 carries, 76 yards. Just something to look at. I don't think Lamar Miller is going to lose that job anytime soon. It'd take probably a significant injury for Foreman to take over. On the other side of the ball, Christian McCaffrey. What are your thoughts on him? I know he had a few carries. He had one little shifty run that he had.
Right. Yeah. He moved well. I thought he made some good open field moves. Broke some tackles. We didn't see a whole lot out of him. And again, this is preseason week 1. We're not saying that if you don't perform well in this first week, you're not going to perform well the rest of the season. These are just our first glimpses at some of these rookies and how they would perform in an NFL game. But I liked what I saw. I think he felt comfortable. No breakout runs, but that's not expected in the NFL of a rookie.
He's just getting started. But I think the standout of this game for me, and I know he's been moving up my draft boards quite a bit lately, Kelvin Benjamin. He looked fantastic.
That's right.
He didn't look overweight like all these like at the beginning of camp they were saying he was overweight. He looked smooth. He could go what he always does. He's a big body. He just goes up over defenders and grabs the ball.
I like Kelvin Benjamin this year. He's big. He made some great catches, and I think Peyton did a good job of drafting him. I was a little bit jealous.
Thank you.
Made me a little bit salty, but props to you for drafting him.
But I will say, this might be bold to say, but Cam's their guy, obviously. He's the one throwing the ball. He throws lasers, not really touch on these passes. But honestly, I think for fantasy purposes, I think it helps Kelvin and Greg Olsen and even probably McCaffrey if Derek Anderson was in there playing quarterback.
He looks good. He's had solid games.
He's a fantastic backup, and even Cam's been hurt over the past couple of years, and when Derek Anderson gets in there, heck, Greg Olsen, he has a field day with those, and along with touches on the ball, players like Kelvin Benjamin with his size, he can go and make adjustments easier and really go down and snag potential touchdowns.
I don't foresee Anderson being the starting quarterback.
Oh no! It's not going to happen.
It's more of a
hypothetical.
It is more of a hypothetical. If Cam Newton, had an injury midseason, I don't think picking up Anderson would be a bad decision in a fantasy league, especially two quarterback deep leagues.
Yeah, and your second quarterback is fairly weak. That would be a great pickup.
Yeah. So. All right, moving on to the next game, Falcons and Dolphins. Not really much from the starters here. A lot of people sat.
Devontae Freeman and Matt Ryan are still on the same page.
They are.
They're still going to be a powerhouse.
I think they played one series.
Yep.
I think Ryan was 5 for 5 or something like that.
Yep. Freeman had a 15-yard touchdown pass.
Yep. That's nothing's going to change there. They're going to be running and gunning.
I do like Devontae Freeman this year.
Obviously, Dolphins, like we said earlier, got Cutler. He didn't play in this game. He's still got to learn the playbook. Ajayi didn't play in this game. He was going through the concussion protocol. He's apparently out of it now, but that might be something to look at. Concussions can linger for a while. Not much from that game. Vikings and Bills. Got a new look at, we got a tiny glimpse of what Tyrod and Sammy were going to do this year, and then it's just taken away from us. Sammy, they were on the same page like they usually were, but it's just like, I'm so happy for a day, and then just okay, Sammy's traded.
I think Tyrod actually posted an Instagram photo of them together that night.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah,
it was a selfie, and it said, "We're just getting started" or something like that. Obviously, it was quickly deleted, but it was painful.
Yeah,
it was
that's
painful.
rough. Also on the Bills side, Jonathan Williams looked pretty good. He's the backup. No one's taken LaShawn McCoy's job, but I mean, he's injury prone, or not injury prone, but I mean, there's like 2 or 3 times a game he goes down, and you think he's torn his ACL or done something crazy. But you saw what Gillislee did last year. He was fantasy viable, but Jonathan Williams, something to look at. I know he's got a hamstring injury going on right now, but I don't think that's going to be much of a big deal. On the other side of the ball, with the Vikings, Dalvin Cook.
Got our first look at Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook, he looked pretty good.
He had a modest first game.
They gave him touches.
Yep. I'll go off on a little Dalvin Cook tangent here. Well, if you saw on Twitter, I drafted Dalvin Cook in the 4th round, 3rd pick of the 4th round, and Joe Mixon went right behind me. Kevin got him, and so I think going into this season, Cook and Mixon will always be compared to each other because of where they were drafted in the NFL draft. They're similar players. So I'll go through a little bit of why I like Cook over Mixon, because I had the opportunity to draft Joe Mixon and I chose Dalvin Cook for a reason. I think Mixon has more of a battle for touches than Cook has. He's got a healthy Jeremy Hill. Cincinnati's been they've been pretty vocal about Jeremy Hill starting as number 1. Actually, Mixon is still listed as the number 3 running back behind Giovanni Bernard. But I think Joe Mixon will definitely take the number 2 spot from Gio pretty quickly, especially in the battle for touches. On the other side, Dalvin Cook has Latavius Murray to beat, and he's been struggling with an ankle injury. He hasn't been able to practice a lot, but that's the only person in front of him. So I think it's a better position to succeed for Dalvin Cook. Not even considering off-field issues for Joe Mixon, I don't think that's going to be an issue. But I just think it's a great potential for Dalvin Cook, and he had the most success through the air, which I think maybe surprised a few people. But I think that's a little bit of foreshadowing of how the Vikings are planning on using him. Last year, the Vikings targeted running backs 115 times out of the backfield versus the Bengals, who targeted running backs 99 times. So they're already more used to passing out of the backfield, and I think Dalvin Cook is going to be a good opportunity to be a receiving running back and get those yards and be productive in fantasy. So that was my little Dalvin Cook spiel.
I like it.
I know, if you did look at Twitter, you may have been wondering, why I chose Dalvin right in front of Joe Mixon. I know a lot of people have Joe Mixon on their rankings above Dalvin, and that was kind of the thought process behind why I made that choice.
Hey, it's not a bad pick at all. Could go either way. Moving right along, Redskins versus Ravens. Not much going on here on either side of the ball, really. One thing to look at, it looks like Rob Kelly's going to be the number 1 guy. P. Ryan had not the greatest debut. He fumbled, dropped a pass. It was kind of ugly there. But, yeah, not much to say from that game. Jaguars and Patriots. Again, another rookie we're looking at. Got our first glimpse at Fournette. Leonard Fournette. The stat line wasn't that great, but like I said, the stats aren't that important in preseason. But I mean, the guy he looked every bit of what his peripherals told us. He's strong. He's physical. He can grind out runs after contact.
He only played 12 snaps before he got
a
little bit of an injury.
Yeah, and he didn't. Chris Ivory starting over him. Don't pay any attention to that. It's going to be Leonard Fournette. I still expect him.
They drafted him for a reason.
Yeah, over 250 touches. I see that easily. On the Patriots side of the ball, not many. Again, no Brady. No Gronkowski. Not many people played, but Garoppolo.
What about Garoppolo?
He had a heck of a game.
He looked good, despite. I mean,
18 for 25. I mean, I don't know. That's pretty good.
Oh yeah,
Two touchdowns, no interceptions.
Yeah, it was a good sign for things to come because he was having an awful camp so far. But it's nice to see that he can step up in a game and recover from his bad camp.
I mean, it's important to know for our fantasy down the road. Tom Brady is no spring chicken. I mean, he still has he still could be injured, and in the event of a Tom Brady injury, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't go for Garoppolo on the waiver wire.
Exactly. I mean, it's a Bill Belichick run offense. You can throw a lot of quarterbacks in there, and they're going to have a lot of value. They're going to run that offense pretty seamlessly, no matter who's throwing the ball. Saints and Browns.
Okay, I have
Go
to
ahead,
take
Peyton.
this is Alvin Kamara. It's my boy. He got the start because he's the best running back in New Orleans right now. No, Mark Ingram and Adrian Peterson sat out, but Kamara really had a great showing. He rushed for 35 yards on 4 attempts, and his longest was a 22-yard run. I really like Kamara. He's a great third down back. He's got a lot to show, and I don't know. I think he fits that offense really well. And then, holy cow, Tommy Lee Lewis. I mean, oh gosh, he killed it. 10 catches for 128 yards. I mean,
and what a name, Tommy Lee Lewis.
Yeah. He was
how
destined to be famous.
How can you fail in life with a name like Tommy Lee Lewis? You can't.
Some would argue that you cannot.
You cannot.
No.
But yeah, that was about all from the Saints side of the ball. Browns side, Brock Osweiler is a bad quarterback. He is a bad quarterback. I haven't seen anything good from him.
No.
As long as he's been in the league, even with the Broncos, nothing good from him.
I was trying to look at some of the highlights from that game, just to try to see if I could see some silver lining to Brock Osweiler, but I can't find it.
No, it's not there.
Look, and he wasn't great to start with, but it's Cleveland too. I mean, that's
right.
I don't think that matters though, because Kessler.
I don't know.
Kessler looked better than Osweiler,
Yeah.
and Kaiser.
Sean Kaiser looked good.
It's the story. This week has been the story of the rookie quarterbacks because they all showed something, and they all made a push for starting positions.
They're all working hard.
Yeah, I mean, Kaiser looked comfortable in the pocket and
no interceptions.
I mean, it was a nice start.
Yeah.
Eagles and Packers. No Aaron Rodgers, no Jordy Nelson. Not many starters played. Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz looked good.
He did. He had a perfect QB rating.
Yeah,
but he was only 4 for 4.
4 for 4 in a touchdown.
Incredible, a really great drive, and that was against a first string Packers defense too. That wasn't the scrubs in there.
Yeah, it's also good to see too. I mean, he lost I'm not Richard. Oh my gosh, Jordan Matthews. I mean, right. And that's like his favorite target. So
yeah, and Alshon
didn't. Good to see him have a good.
Alshon didn't play or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, I will say with the Matthews news, with him leaving, Zach Ertz, I think shoots up a lot of boards because
right.
I mean. He's
like Zach Ertz.
I mean, he's
going to be a target machine.
He is. I mean, he had quite a few targets last year. He's been kind of injury prone here and there, but I think it helps Ertz a lot that Matthews is gone. On the other side of the ball, Packers didn't throw much. It was mainly seeing how the run game was going to work with Ty Montgomery, and honestly, didn't have a good showing. Not a good showing at all. 3 carries for 0 yards and a fumble. So obviously not. If he's looking to hold on to that job, that wasn't the best start to do it because Jamal Williams is nipping at his heels right now.
Looking at the highlights, what do you think? What would you say was his biggest problem? I mean, was it
Montgomery?
Was it?
could he just not get past the line, or
I mean, he only played one series, I believe.
I think it was only one.
I think he had a catch for maybe 10 yards. I will say it's a different offense without Aaron Rodgers out there. I mean,
right.
It's night and day.
You lose. He's a threat to do anything. So.
Yeah, well, I think we're going to learn a lot more from that running game and that offense later in preseason. I don't know how much Aaron or Jordy's going to play.
I think that's the story to watch going into week 1 of the regular season.
Yeah, that backfield, it could be jumbled up at any time. But moving right along, Broncos and Bears. Again, story of quarterbacks right now. Simeon, I think has that locked in. On the other side of the ball, Trubisky, another rookie making a push.
Great showing.
Great showing.
A lot of people dogged that pick, but
yet again,
they knew what they were doing. I think they did.
Solid. And Glennon looked horrible.
Yes.
Now, granted, like a lot of these guys, they're not the starters right now. So Glennon's going up against the first stringers in the Broncos defense, and Trubisky's going up against second and third string guys. So you got to kind of weigh that, but it's a good sign that these guys are producing and they're making a push for some starting jobs.
He led 3 drives, and they were all scoring drives. He put up some good performance.
Mm-hmm. And the guy can run too.
He can. That really surprised me.
I love the running ability.
He looked comfortable in the pocket. It just looks like he's adjusting to the NFL well. That was a huge controversial pick in the draft this year, but I think it's going to work out. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, and I guess just from the receivers on the Bears, there are a lot of questions going on. Marcus Wheaton fractured his finger. Victor Cruz, who knows? He scored a touchdown. Kevin White, I have no idea what he's doing. That's just a mess right now. But yeah, like I said, just the quarterback battles between the Broncos and the Bears right now. Steelers and Giants.
Okay, so I have to also talk about my boy Josh Dobbs.
Aerospace engineer.
I love you, Josh, but it was just not a good game for you, buddy.
It wasn't. The weird thing though, it was he had the 2 interceptions were horrendous. They were not pretty.
He just didn't see the field.
Then he goes back and he throws a beautiful touchdown to Kobe Hamilton. And I was like, where has that been the entire time? Because I think he can throw the ball. I just don't know if he's...
Maybe it's a confidence or a comfortability level. I'm not sure, but that's Dobbs, though. He's so inconsistent.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
It could be the inconsistency coming from college.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Landry Jones is going to hold down that second spot. There's no question here.
That's it. Yeah, that offense is pretty much set to go. On the other side of the ball, Giants, only thing I have to say... I think Paul Perkins is in trouble. There is not a clear-cut one in that backfield. There are a lot of names. Orleans Darkwa looked good. Wayne Gallman even got some work. Shane Vereen's going to be back catching balls out of the backfield, being the third down guy.
Yeah.
So that might be something to look at too, because Paul Perkins, if you're looking for a late round starter, he might not be the guy. Did
you move him down in your rankings?
I did move him down my rankings.
Definitely something to watch through the first 4 weeks too.
Yeah. Buccaneers and Bengals.
Mike Evans is still Mike Evans.
Mike Evans is still Mike Evans. Goodness, he is good. He is good. And Deshaun Jackson is only going to make him better. It's going to open the field even more.
I really like Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, true.
That's a good pickup.
Doug Martin, he's going to be the starter. After the suspension and everything like that, he's going to come back. He's going to be the guy. Don't worry about there.
Make Cameron Braid again.
2
for 27 yards. I think the big tight end news coming out of Tampa Bay is about O.J. Howard, but for fantasy, I'd still go Cameron Brate. I think O.J. Howard, he did a lot of pass blocking in college, and I feel like that may be his primary role on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So if you're thinking about a late round tight end, maybe you're in a 2 tight end league, I would go Cameron Brate over O.J. Howard.
Yeah, and I mean Jaquiz, he's a good late round guy again to pick up if or for those couple of games because I mean he's gonna be in that number 1 role. On the other side of the ball, Bengals, not much to say other than Joe Mixon. We got to look at that.
We didn't see a whole lot from him, but he had a good start.
Yeah, he looks quick. He looks agile. He looks fast.
He made a lot of defenders miss. He had a couple of really good jukes and drives that really kind of wowed me. Mm-hmm. But we didn't get to see a whole lot. But it's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, we got a little glimpse of the potential, and I'm still waiting on them to just say, hey, this is our guy. Let him run it.
Right.
49ers and Chiefs. Mahomes, again. Patrick Mahomes, another rookie quarterback showing up. I think he's got the least, or he's least likely to start out of any of these young guys because Alex Smith's locked in there. But again, Mahomes, he's got a strong arm. He looks like guys like Favre and Cutler out there with a strength in the arm. Spencer Ware, he's pretty much solidified the number 1 role. Kareem Hunt didn't do much in this game. 2 receivers, I thought, on both sides of the ball that could get a look at. Late round guys, Chris Conley for the Chiefs and Aldrick Robinson for the Niners. They both look good. Obviously, Macklin's not in Kansas City anymore, and they have to have some guy other than Tyreek Hill and Kelsey to catch the ball. And Conley, I mean, he's a viable option. We're going to go quick through the rest of these. We're kind of running out of time. Sorry, we ran long again. Titans and Jets.
Mariota looked good. He looked fine coming back off the leg break. And then McCown and Hackenberg both had pretty decent games. So
McCown looked good. I think as long as he can stay healthy, it's going to be nice.
As long as he keeps passing it to Robbie Anderson.
The guy showed up last year. He looks like he's going to be the one this year with the noon one down.
Man, that 53-yard pass touchdown. Oh no, it wasn't a touchdown.
No, it was like
very close.
Very close.
Very close. That was a beautiful pass and beautiful vision.
Cowboys and Rams. Obviously, no Zeke. That's going to be gone for a while. McFadden's going to be the number 1 for 6 weeks, so obviously he's a good pick to have. Like I said, we touched on most of this earlier. Gurley moving up in the boards with Watkins in. Watkins didn't play this game, but Gurley's obviously going to. I think he's going to be advantageous of the Watkins trade.
There's going to be less people in the linebacker box.
Yeah. And one tiny thing to mention, Rico Gathers, tight end for the Cowboys. 4 catches, 47 yards, and a touchdown. Former basketball player turned football player. Yeah. And, I mean,
for Baylor, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen that work in the past with guys like Julius Thomas, Jimmy Graham. It can...
He's big. I mean...
They
really tested him this game, and he proved himself.
Yeah, he's looking good.
Maybe definitely a name
to watch.
Keep an eye on.
Raiders, Cardinals. Hardly anything happened in this game.
Not a lot of starters.
No. David Johnson, he's the number 1 guy. We know that. Derek Carr, Marshawn, they didn't play in this game, so not much to say from there. Lions and Colts. Colts, hardly any starters. Luck, obviously, not playing right now. T.Y. played a little, but, again, not with Luck, so that doesn't really affect anything. On the Lions side, Kenny Golladay.
A Golladay keeps the doctor away.
Oh, Lord.
Feel free to use that as your team name. Brandon, that was our first waiver wire pickup of the season.
Kenny Golladay, yeah.
Brandon beat me to it, so congratulations. I was about 3 hours too late.
Hey, I was tempted to draft him just because he was showing up and he was looking good.
But he looks great now.
He does. The routes are crisp. He's got size. He's got speed, and he's making adjustments in the air. It's it's a nice
2 touchdowns. It was the same exact play on opposite sides of the field.
Yeah.
If you noticed that, it was right over the shoulder. It looked beautiful. They had practiced that play a lot, and it worked.
Yeah. So late round guy. If you're thinking about picking up a rookie wide receiver, honestly, he might be jumping up to number 1 on my rookie wide receiver rankings.
I put him over Zay Jones now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's looking good. Last game, Seahawks Chargers. Gates scored a touchdown, not Hunter Henry. I think that's gonna.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be the story most of this season.
I do too.
I think I think Hunter Henry owners are gonna be. They are gonna be frustrated.
They're gonna be disappointed. Yeah,
because Gates is gonna score touchdowns. Rivers has that rapport with him, and
they've got a really good connection. And I don't think that Hunter's gonna be.
Yeah,
Hunter can break that up.
And again, there's a lot of people. There are a lot of pass catchers in L.A. Sorry, I almost said San Diego. San Diego again.
That's hard to.
It is, but I mean, you got Travis Benjamin with a huge touchdown. Keenan Allen's there. Tyrell Williams is there. Gates there. Henry there. There's so many mouths to feed.
Yeah.
On the other side of the ball, I guess the biggest news: Thomas Rawls starting over Lacey. I don't know how that's going to work out. I honestly, between Rawls, Lacey, and Procise, I think it's just whoever's going to stay healthy.
Right. Yeah.
Someone's going to get hurt in that backfield.
They've all got some injury issues in the past. I think it is going to be a game of who can stay the freshest.
Yeah. And Paul Richardson looked good for a while.
Yeah.
Had a great, spectacular one-handed catch.
Yeah, that was
and
beautiful.
Then gets injured on that play. AC sprain. Might be out for a while. That's the thing that lingered Randall Cobb for half of the last couple seasons, and he never really got going. So.
Right.
Thing to watch there. That concludes the Week 1 review. Just a few things to say regarding our draft. Like I said, we drafted on Sunday. It was right after we went camping up at Grayson Highlands Park in Virginia.
We had a lot of news to come back to.
We had no cell service for
Friday.
a while, so we left on Friday. Came back and we were like, oh.
Everything happened.
Yeah, Sammy Watkins, wow. Zeke, wow. Jordan Matthews, just everything. But yeah, the only reason we drafted this early, I don't normally like to draft early.
No.
And honestly, I think you should draft as late as possible. If we could draft
Yep.
a couple hours before the first game of Week 1, we would, just because, we know everything going in.
Yep.
But the reason we do this is 'cause we could have everyone in town, because we got out-of-town guys living in Nashville. Shout out to Joseph and Charles.
Right.
So we like to have everyone in town, because it's like a home league, and that's just how we like to do it. But one of the most important things, because it's draft season right now, drafts are in swing, it's going on, the draft's important. I will say that. But you do not win your league at the draft. You can lose it, though. You can lose it.
Yes,
that's true.
You can make bad picks, and you can screw up the whole thing, the whole foundation. The draft is just, like I said, the foundation. But you can... I'm notorious for being a terrible, terrible drafter. But...
rallies to be like first or second every single year.
Yeah,
it's all about the week to week. It's not.
It's just about paying attention.
It's
and
not
being
a set
active.
it and forget it game. I mean, you play fantasy football week to week, so it can't be won in the draft. But like you said, it can be lost.
It can.
Just fight your way into the playoffs, and the regular season doesn't matter when you get there. So.
Amen. It's all about the playoffs. You just get there and you're ready to go. So, we're going to wrap up here. Again, you can follow us at the 423 Football on Twitter and now Instagram. We got Joseph running the Instagram account now, so a lot of news over
Posts
there.
A lot of good content.
Yes. Very, very good content. Go follow us on both sites. We got Facebook going on now. Go like us and follow us on Facebook and give us a listen, subscribe. We're now on iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube. You can check us out on YouTube right now. We're going to wrap it up here, and we'll be back next week to talk preseason week 2.